Good morning, good morning, good morning, beautiful people. Good morning, good morning. It is Shonna Etienne with the Virtual Book Club. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I can't say that enough. It is a great morning. So, good morning to you all. I'm waiting for you guys to come on so we can get started. I don't have all day today. You don't have all day today. So, let's not waste not another minute, not another second. Just waiting for you guys to come on to the Virtual Book Club while we continue with the book that we are on. For those of you guys who don't know, we are reading It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, a new paradigm for Black America. I have shared the link to this book. The link is in the description of this video. Be sure to check it out so that we can all be on the same page. I am excited about this book because I'm new to reading it and I'm learning a lot. There's some things that are like making me up my eyebrows, like, wow, okay. But then there's some things where I'm like, right on, I believe that, I believe that. So I'm enjoying this book because it's challenging my thinking, it's challenging my belief system, it's challenging my spirit, it's doing a lot of challenging for me. And I love to be challenged because when you are able to be challenged, that means you are still willing to grow. So I love that. Good morning, Lynn. How are you? It is a really great day. Yes, Lynn. Good morning, Justin. Peace and rising, brother and sister. I am going to share this video with my audience so that we can go ahead and get started. And so if anybody has anything they want to say, just make sure you leave a comment and I'll get back to the comments a little later, only because I'm pressed for time until my child finishes his day camp. So I'm battling against time because of the bus. Okay. So if you have any comments, if I see it while I'm talking, I will respond to it. But if I happen to miss it, I will be sure to get back to it. So make sure you just go ahead and leave a comment. Okay. I'll respond in one way, shape, form, or another. Okay. So let me just share this video and then we're going to get started. I recognize that I am a little early today. And again, it's only because I want to get my son on the bus on time. I don't want to have any problems. So there you go. So we're going to get started with today. For those of you guys who are new logging on, we are reading It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar. It is a book written by Dr. Boyce Watkins. It is free to download. I have shared the link in the description portion of this video. Just make sure you download the book so that you can know what I'm reading. And just so everyone knows, I do not read the paragraphs one at a time. I go to what's important to me. But if you want to read the book, you can read every single thing. There's no way on God's green earth I'm going to be able to go through all these paragraphs and still finish the book club in a respectable amount of time. So you can go ahead and read the whole entire book. I'm only reading the paragraphs that I'm highlighting. Good morning, Trinity. Good morning, Steve. We are about to get rolling. Okay, so this chapter is why I wrote this book. The objective of this book is to serve a few purposes, all of which are communicated in the title. First, I believe that one important dimension in our quest for advancement as a community is that we must reclaim the village. The village isn't just for raising children. It is also for raising our awareness, raising our income levels, and raising our state of existence. So this is not just about child rearing, because we know the real popular phrase, it takes a village to raise a child. It's an African proverb, and it's very true, but that's not what he's talking about. He's saying this goes beyond children. It's about our income levels. It's about our state of awareness. It's about our education. It's about a lot of things. The village is what reminds us that we are all connected and that the failure of a few of us can be connected to the failure of all of us. You can't just look at the drug addict down the street and think that it won't eventually affect you, because eventually it will. The concerned parent who hears record labels and media conglomerates marketing Black destruction can't simply say, well, it's up to the parents to monitor what their kids listen to. The fact is that if another child down the street hasn't been raised or loved properly, then his violent behavior or her violent behavior, I'm throwing in a her, may end up taking the life of your child. So this right here, it requires a deeper thinking, because it actually makes a lot of sense. A lot of times what we will hear some people say is That don't concern me. You know, I'm so glad I don't live in that community, or that's so sad it's happening down the block. But the truth is, if a drug addict lives in a bad community, it doesn't mean that it's not going to impact you in your community. Everything in this world is going to impact us. We are really connected, especially as a community of people. We are really connected. And even though bad may be happening in one area, when I walk down the street, the first thing people are going to see, not for nothing, and if they saying they don't see it, they're a liar, but the first thing they're going to see is my black skin. And they're going to have a lot of belief systems about who I am as a black woman, who I am as a black person, period. They're going to have a lot of belief systems. So what happens to one of us really does have an impact on all of us. It may not have a direct impact, but it really does impact us, whether you believe it or not. And for those parents who feel like the music don't matter, I don't know why they always talking about the music. People need to monitor what their kids is. Listen, I monitor what my kids do a lot. But guess what? I'm not around my kids 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So even though you may be the best music monitor in the world, you cannot monitor everything your children does, because if he or she doesn't have a smartphone, one of their friends do. And you better believe that they're going to be huddled around in a circle listening to YouTube or watching a music video or whatever the case is. There's tons and tons of research on this stuff. When we're researching, especially our children who look like me, our black queens, our African queens, whatever you want to call them, there's a lot of research that happens amongst us, given by scholars like us, that we are seeing that the music and what our children watch on TV, it has a great impact on our child's brain, because our children are still growing. They're very impressionable. So children that see a video vixen may start dressing like them, because that is the fashion, and then the other peers around them are going to do it. And even though you have the perfect children, let me tell you, a high school I went to, one of my friends used to sneak skirts into her bag. Pants, tight pants into her bag, so she wasn't allowed to wear pants. And when she got to school, she used to change into her pants and into her tight pants at that, with her 5411s. And if you guys are old enough, you know what 5411s are. She used to dress like that. So even though her parents had her under a tight knit at home, when she got to school, it was a whole different ball game. So what we read, what we watch on TV, the music we listen to, it really does impact us as a whole. Even if it's not a direct impact, it has an impact no matter way you think about it. Good morning, Gwendolyn. Good morning, Marva. Good morning, Trinity. It is expected that all of us be a part of a village and support it. If you're choosing not to be a part of the village, that's okay. Just don't expect the village to support you when your oppressors have left you hanging out to dry. When I read this, it reminded me of, did y'all see the O.J. Simpson documentary, where apparently one time he had said, "I'm not black, I'm O.J." And you see how they wind up treating him, right? And we see that so much amongst our community. We see so many people want to push out of our community because they feel that has stereotypes or negative connotations attached to it, so they don't want to be a part of it. But guess what? When the world out there don't treat them too well, where do they come back to? You always come back home. You always come back home. So what he's saying is, it's either you're going to be a part of this village and help build this village, or you're just going to go away and don't expect anything from the village, even when you're behind, get in trouble. Don't go calling Al Sharpton. Don't go calling the NAACP. When you're behind, gets pushed out because you choose to leave, don't come back to use the village when you feel alone. That's pretty much what he's saying, whether you agree with it or not. This is what he's writing in his book. We must consistently raise the bar as a community, but also as individuals. We must recommit ourselves to excellence and our children as well. We can no longer accept a world where athletic superiority is expected, while educational inferiority has become the norm. We live in the information age, where anyone can become an expert on anything at any time. You no longer have to go to school in order to get a good education. You don't have to have money in order to learn. You can get a virtual PhD on your cell phone by reading Wikipedia pages on topics that interest you. There are YouTube videos that can help you become an expert in science, math, chemistry, business, music, or any other topic you find interesting. The world is your oyster if you are willing to open your mind and consume it. Gone are the days when you needed a white man's permission to learn at the highest level. Now, if you don't understand how to do something, or you are missing the knowledge you need, you can only blame the person who lives in the mirror. So pretty much what he's saying here, I mean, it's self-explanatory. Nowadays, we have so many people who are going to school to learn things that they can do on the internet. I've learned so much of my technical intelligence by watching YouTube. I have learned how to set up email autoresponders. I have learned how to do webinars. I have learned so many things by watching YouTube that I didn't have to go to a university to get that information. Of course, there are some things that you're just going to have to go to college for. And I don't know if he talks about that in the book, because this is the first time I'm reading this book with you guys, but there's going to be things that you absolutely need college for, especially if we're going to build a village. I personally feel if we're going to build a village, let's build the village properly. Let's build the village to include our teachers, to include our lawyers, our doctors, our medical assistants, our psychologists, our therapists. No matter what the case is, some of those expertise are going to require you to go to a university, regardless whether you agree with it or not. If you want to be a dentist, if you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a cardiologist, some of those things are going to require you to have formal education. So let's not look down on formal education. Let's see the formal education in areas where we actually need it, areas that is going to build our community. Because as of right now, many of us, not all of us, but many of us go to doctors of different races, different cultures for our care. We don't go amongst our own. Maybe because we don't have any in our area. Maybe because they're so far out. Maybe because they don't take insurance. Whatever the case is, we are utilizing other people for our mental health, for our physical health, for our dental health. We are utilizing other races. And in order for us to have a tight-knit community, there are certain educational value systems that we're going to have to put in place, and we're going to have to push our children to go there. I always say to my children in my household, if you're going to go to college, you have to take a STEM, science, technology, engineering, or math. You have to take a STEM course. You have to have a STEM degree if I'm paying for it. Now, if you're paying for college, take whatever you want. But I'm not paying for anything else, because my mind is thinking futuristic. My mind is thinking build this freaking village. My mind is thinking raise my children to have their own, to own their own. My mind is thinking to raise my children to transform community. That's how my mind is thinking. So when I have conversations in my house, I'm talking about racism. I'm talking about oppression. I'm talking about education. I'm talking about being bigger and better in my house. Those are the conversations I have with my children. When I take my children out on certain affairs or certain trips, I'm making it into an educational trip. So when we're going to raise the village, we have to think holistically and futuristic. We have to think about how are we going to get our children to be a part of something greater. Because the biggest mistake that I think that some of our parents, not all, because truly my mother was on point, but some of our parents have missed, in my opinion, is that they have gotten so comfortable that they did not raise our children, our generation, my generation, and some of the generation that's coming up right now. They didn't prepare their children for psychological warfare. That's just how I feel. So a lot of times we're walking around thinking that everything is kumbaya and peace, and we're all included because there's inclusion, right? We're all thinking about these things. And when the SHIT hits the fan, our children are not prepared. They cannot go to psychological war and battle. They're being ripped down. They're lightening their skin. They are losing weight traumatically. They're committing suicide. They are starving themselves. We see so many things that's happening in our community that once upon a time it had low rates. Not that it didn't exist, but the rates were lower. Now we are all being impacted by how another culture thinks, how another culture acts, what another culture's belief system is. And we're taking it on as though it is our own. We need to do a better job at training our children for the psychological warfare that's going on. So let me move on. Yes, so Marva is saying teach our children to build that does not exist yet. Absolutely. We're not teaching our children to own, to build, to invest, to conquer. I don't know about you guys, but I'm raising warriors. We're about to conquer this. You understand? And we really have to do it. It ain't damaging their mind. It's giving them the reality. So when it hits them, they're prepared. They know how to handle the situation. Raising the bar also means pushing our children to be the best they can be in every aspect of life. The standards you set for your children are going to dictate how they choose to live their lives. If you listen to any highly accomplished black man or woman, he didn't put woman, I'm putting woman, he will typically or she will typically tell stories about how his mother or her mother inspired him or her to be the best he could be. Y'all know I feel some kind of way about all this him. But nonetheless, he might talk to you about how his father taught him to be strong. These are the same lessons you should be giving your children, because what you say to them is the gospel. And that is so true. And you know what? I would have to say a lot of mothers, not all, because some mothers be giving themselves credits and they don't deserve credit. That's just how I feel. Some mothers need to go to parenting classes. But nonetheless, a lot of mothers that I come across, we raise our daughters and we love our boys. We raise our daughters to be warriors. We raise our daughters to be able to provide. We raise our daughters to hold down the fort. We raise our daughters to not have to depend on a man. Have y'all realized that? This is how we raise our daughters. We sit our daughters down and we have conversations with them like no other about life, what to expect, what not to tolerate. We have all these conversations with our daughters. But when it comes to our sons, and even see, I have a different mindset when people are like, oh, we need fathers in the home. I'm going to talk to you guys about that in a second. But when it comes to our sons, we love them. We coddle them. We baby them. We just say, try your best. Not me. I tell my sons to get your behind in the kitchen. You're going to learn how to cook. Because you're not going to sit home when that independent woman is doing her things and you starving because you don't know how to cook. Senseless. It's about survival. And there's no guarantee that you're going to get married. And I don't want you just shacking up with just anybody because you don't want to be alone. You're going to learn how to live on your own. And you're not going to be going out eating fast food all the time because that sucker will kill you. Right? So we love our boys, but we raise our girls. And there's a lot of fathers who are present in the home, but they're not available. They're not emotionally available. They're not psychologically available. They're not there for the educational teaching of the children. They're not there to be an active participant in the children's health and what they choose to put in their mouth, how they go about things. They don't teach them life lessons. They don't take them outside and teach them how to change tires, teach them how to change brakes, change oils. They don't do none of that stuff. How to pull up a wall, how to lay down floor. Fathers, a lot of fathers are not teaching their sons that, but they are present in the home. So when we say, oh, a father has to be there, yes, that is true, but a father has to be active in every area of a child's life. A lot of times, fathers are present and they are providing for the homes, but the mothers are the ones that are educating their children, teaching their children, disciplining the children, feeding their children, everything with the children. So we're going to raise a village. We need two active parents taking an active role in the rearing of the children, not one going to work and the other one going to work and raising the children. Because nowadays, it's not just one parent working and the other person's taking up the home. That's not the case anymore. And truthfully, for the most part, us as black folks, we had to work since the days of slavery. So all this other stuff about women's rights and workers, that's not our battle. That's not our battle. Do we reap some of the benefits? We reap some of the benefits, but that's not our battle. We've been working since we've been slaves. It's time for us to really get back together and as parents, mother and fathers, and raise our children together in every active area of our lives. For one parent to defer to the other person, go ask their mother. That ain't good. That ain't good. Because it creates an imbalance. And what are we teaching our children? How are we teaching our children to go about life to be able to raise a family on their own? So we have to be mindful of those kind of things. You don't have to be on television to be a black leader. If you have children in your home, then you are a black leader. If you have people in your space who are under your influence, then you are a black leader. If you have a desire for a better future for your community, then you are a black leader. Even if you have to start leading yourself. As a reminder, the 4 key components of the new paradigm are wealth, education, family, and community. These are the four fundamental building blocks for the resurrection of Black America so that we might see ourselves as the great men and women we are meant to become and what we are meant to resurrect. Because many of us are already that, but we're asleep. So it's time for us to be revived. It's time for us to be resurrected. We need to wake up and claim back what is rightfully ours and what we have innately put inside of us and stop depending on other people to give it to us. Because everything we need to be successful, to be powerful, and to be conquerors, it already lies in front of us. It's already inside of us, and all the tools are in front of us. We have to choose to pick them up. We have to choose to use them. Minister Farrakhan, see, I love me some Minister Farrakhan. I don't know about some of y'all, but I love me some Minister Farrakhan. Yes, indeed. Minister Farrakhan is, in my opinion, one of the greatest Black men in American history. Whether you like him or not, you have to realize that he has the ability to do something that most of us cannot do, which is to speak his mind without fear of the consequences. That is something he does. Amen. He provides his own physical security, economic security, food security, intellectual security, and pretty much everything else. He has built the closest thing to a nation within a nation that we have seen in this country. The reason Farrakhan can say what he wants is because he makes his own money and maintains his freedom that way. He is not a big shot because he got a job at some fancy corporation. He's not respected because someone gave him a TV show. He is not beloved because he was elected to public office. People love Farrakhan because he has freedom and true power. It's not borrowed power or the illusion of freedom that comes with being propped up by someone else. It's the real power you obtain by building organizations from the ground up and nurturing them for the next generation. Let me stop right there for a second. I've said it to many of you guys before, and I'm going to say it again. It is about us going back to our roots. When we used to meet, once upon a time, we used to meet in a church basement, and we used to plan, we used to organize, and we used to move together. I want to see us to return to that, whether we are meeting in our living rooms, whether we are meeting in our businesses. For those of us who own businesses like me, come on, if you want to meet, we can meet. We can plan. If you guys want to meet at a church, if you want to meet at a mosque, I don't care, but we have to get back to meeting so that we can be on one accord. We are so divided. We are so separated from the communities we live in, to our belief systems, to our meetings. We are so separated. Everybody want to be right. Everybody want to find something wrong in what the next person is saying. I always say the greatest way to move ahead is to find common ground. You're not going to agree with everything that other people say, but the idea and the real power, the true power, is finding common ground. Where can we agree on the things together and move forward? Where can we build? Because if we're not on common ground, the only thing we're going to be doing is continuously destroying. So let's move on. The second New Paradigm Forum we held was in Washington, D.C. with Dr. Steve Perry. Dr. Perry happens to be somewhat conservative, which is fine with me. Some people take issue with Black conservatives, and I'm not sure why. The truth is that our alignment with various political parties has done nothing to advance the cause of Black people over the last 50 years. We are often used as political pawns in a game between wealthy elite, much to our demise. Dr. Perry also happens to be an extraordinary educator, serving as the principal of the Capital Preparatory Magnet School in Hartford, Connecticut. He also agrees with the idea of Black people being free to control our own destiny. Our future is not one that is going to be given to us by the Democratic Party. In fact, they can go to hell. Our future is not going to be given to us by the Republican Party. They can go to hell too. Our future is going to be created and built by us. It is not going to be granted to us by any politician, no matter how friendly they are to the African American community. One of the reasons that Dr. Perry and I are aligned in our thinking is that despite any political affiliations, we both have a deep, sincere, unapologetic love for our people. I know that's a hard pill for some people to swallow. I understand that. But if you really listen to it, I did a video a long time ago. And it had quite 1,000 views on it. But I said in that video, baby, you're going to have to keep still. Okay? I said in that video, all of the politicians, all of the government has hurt all of the people all of the time. Every time you turn around, we are losing out. No matter who we elect in office, there's always something that we are losing out on. We are getting the short end of the stick. So I asked myself, I don't know about you guys, but I asked myself, why do people continuously put all their faith and their hope in a government system who has harmed us for so many years and continues to do so? Why? When we have everything we need to build. We have everything we need to build. There are so many research studies out there on so many other populations that are not big participants in our political system, that live amongst us, that reside right here in our country, and they don't turn out to vote in large numbers. Let me tell you, and those are some of the most economically powerful people. I ain't going to name no people. You guys know who I'm talking about. But my point is, we need to stop relying on a system, hoping a system is going to free us. How can you trust your oppressors to free you? It goes against their very interests. They will never free you. Only the oppressed can free themselves by rising up and joining together and building their nation within a nation. That's the only way we're going to be free. And so many of us has this illusion that we are free, and that's fine. That's fine. So not all of us, but so many of us do have this illusion, and that's fine by me. I don't have that illusion. I understand at any given moment, if somebody happens to get a little cuckoo quack in their mind and they want to shut the system down and put us on the sideline, many of us will lose out. We may know how to build a house, but do we own the equipment? We may know how to sell a product, but do we manufacture it? There's a lot of things that we have to really start thinking about. That if somebody in their crazy mind, just like a Hitler, right? If somebody in their crazy mind decided to rise up against us, are we prepared? Are we prepared? And you can't say that it won't happen. Many people have stated that it would never happen, but guess what? Hitler did it successfully. So we cannot go around with that mindset that it would never happen to us, because it will. Y'all going to have to excuse my baby because, you know, we love our boys. I'm about to give him the 1, 2. But nonetheless. But so many of us are accustomed to seeing ourselves as second-class citizens that we quietly sit in the back of the room and allow mainstream celebrities to give nothing back to their people. Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped. Going back. Our third new paradigm forum was in New York City with respected scholar and activist, Dr. Cornel West. The reason I chose Dr. West is the forum is because Dr. West, whether you like him or not, is committed to poor people, Black people, and brown people like no one else. But so many of us are accustomed to seeing ourselves as second-class citizens that we quietly sit in the back of the room and allow mainstream celebrities to give nothing back to their people. Recently, the rapper Dr. Dre gave $35 million to the University of Southern California. This donation means very little to USC since their endowment already exceeds the funding of every HBCU in America combined. USC doesn't hire Black professors very often. They really accept any Black student who can't throw a football or dribble a basketball. Dr. Walter Kimbrough, the president of Dillard University, wrote an open letter asking Dr. Dre why he wouldn't consider giving at least a fraction of the massive gift to HBCU. Black colleges produce far more doctors, lawyers, and professors than USC with a much smaller budget. While USC barely sneezes at a $35 million donation, such a gift to Black students would have instantly transformed thousands of lives for the better. So we see this quite often. Many people are running around supporting everyone else, but we don't support each other. Many people, even when it comes to donations, stop, okay? Even when it comes to donations, I notice people are promoting all these white organizations, donating money to them by the truckload. But how many people donate into Black organizations? Black nonprofit organizations close every day because they don't have enough donations to sustain it. Everybody wants the services of them. They want to run to the community and take, but no one gives, or hardly anyone gives. And we got to get better than that. We are quick to donate to the American Red Cross. But honestly and truly, what do they really do for the Black community? Let's just be real. We are quick to donate for them. They profit on many of our disasters. They profit off of Haiti. But why is Haiti in the same condition? They profit off of Katrina. But we know how that really went down. We know who the people that wasn't getting the aid and the services. So we have to be really considerate of how we are donating our money. We are quick to give our money to white organizations, and we will let a Black organization starve and die. I have to solicit money other ways. And you know what? The people that donate into me, they don't look like me. And everyone knows I have a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Everyone knows I keep my books successfully. Everyone knows this. I have public information. You can look me up. I manage my money, but how many of my people pour into my organization? I have people that come to me for mental health counseling that don't pay me anything because they don't have it. They might just pay me $5 because that's all they have. And I still do the work. I still do the work. But how many people say, you know what? Let me go ahead and give a donation to Shonna's organization. But we'll be quick to turn around and donate to the March of Dimes, Breast Cancer Awareness, the Red Cross, the Salvation Army, Goodwill. We'll donate to all these nonprofit organizations, but we turn around and we leave the Black ones to starve. To starve. This goes for celebrities, and this goes for regular people like you and I. We have to do better with this, because if we're going to build the village, we have to build the village not just in our household, but to everybody who's a part of the village. This kind of slave-like thinking has to be squashed in our community. Other ethnic groups did not prosper by promoting their own genocide and deflecting the value of education. A group of people cannot prosper by dumping the collective in favor of the greedy, selfish individual. We cannot employ Black celebrities who extract billions in wealth from the Black community and transfer the bulk of that wealth right back to the hands of the very same Europeans who are putting our young men and women in prison. Kira, can you take Sage down, please? While many believe celebrities owe us nothing, they give them everything. I do not agree with this philosophy. I'm not impressed by how much money a celebrity makes or how much fame they have. I don't care how much validation you've received from the white community that may convince you that you're better than the Black people. We have to judge our celebrities by the content of their character and not by the size of their bank accounts. This transformation in thinking is critically important. So I'm going to stop right there. Many of us, we have to examine ourselves. Not all of us, because some of us, we support the Black village every day of our waking lives. I know I do. But so many of us, we have to really sit back and self-examine. We are quick, and I'm not saying anything's wrong with tithing, so do not misunderstand me. But we are quick to tithe, and we don't hold them accountable. We don't hold our churches that we are tithing to accountable. We don't show up at meetings. We don't ask questions. We don't demand nothing. We just tithe, but yet and still, we'll have a Black organization, a Black school, a Black daycare, a Black doctor, whatever the case is, we don't pour into them. And I'm not saying all of us. I'm saying too many of us. So basically what he's saying in this section of the book is that we have to really take a conscious effort to think about how we are moving in this world for each other, and how we are actively building the village for each other. If we are not being a part of the solution, then that means we are part of the problem. It's just that simple. I love you guys. Tomorrow morning at 8:15, I will be back on here. Please feel free to leave your comments, and I will make sure to respond to all of those. I got to dip and run because I got to get my baby down on the bus. I love you guys. Share the video and join me tomorrow morning at 8:15 in the a.m. I'm so sorry for that. Have a blessed one. I love you guys, and be kind. I have a blood work.